Call me Dave here. Evening all. My mate Paddy, he was on holiday in Egypt with his girlfriend. They had a lovely first 2 days, and then she buggered off with one of the tour guides. It was terrible. He was suicidal. He went up to the top of the pyramid, and he jumped off, tried to commit suicide. He slid right to the bottom. Let's have a bit of fun, shall we? I was in the pub the other day with my mate. He had quite a few sherbets, you know. He was staring at this woman. She had a beer belly. She was burping and farting and fucking juggling pickled eggs. And she was having shots. You know, just like some of us lads would, really. And he turned to me, he said, fuck, I like her. I thought, yeah, you're bloody made for each other, do you know what I mean? He went up to her, he said, hi, gorgeous, can I get you a drink? And she said, no, politely. She said, sorry, mate, you're not my type. He said, look, love, you know, I'm attractive, I've got a good job, and I'll give you a damn good rogering, you know. And she said politely, thanks, but no thanks. And then he said, okay, maybe you should come out for dinner with me, you know, get to know me a little bit first, you know. And she turned around and she went, I'm a lesbian, mate. He went, what part of Lesbania did he come from then? And I jumped in at this point. I said, Pete, I don't think she wants to, mate. She's not happy, you know. He said, I'm a good bloke and I got a big todger and all. You could do a lot worse. She turned around, she said, look, mate, you clearly don't get it, do you? She said, you see that nice blonde over there in the corner of the bar? He went, yeah. He said, well, I want to take her home, rip her knickers off and eat a minge for an hour. And I turned around, I went, fuck me, I must be a lesbian and all. Fucking hell. Yeah. It was a sad story. Very sad story. My mate Steve, he had 2 wooden legs. That's not funny, you know, he had 2 wooden legs and he worked, you know, he paid his way in this world. He worked in a factory, you know, Essex way. And he worked in a place for special needs, you know. And the other night, the factory caught fire. They saved the factory, but fucking Steve was burnt to the ground, you know. Fucking hell. Yeah, my friend Richard, Dick, he used to be a heavy smoker. He's lost a lot of weight now. He still smokes, though. Heavy fucking smoker. I was in town and a soldier ran past in his uniform and he's being chased by some police and military geezers, you know. And he quickly ran in the post office and there was a nun in there. And he ran in and he hid up a habit, a dress, you know. And the police looked in there and they missed him and they run off. And he came out and he turned to the nun. He went, I'm ever so sorry, madam. He said, I'm a soldier, obviously. And I said, but I don't want to fight in Ukraine. That's why I'm hiding, you see. He said, but while I was under there, I happened to notice, you know, you hadn't shaved for a while, you know, but you have lovely, pale, soft legs. And the nun said, well, mate, if you looked a little further up those lovely legs, you'd have seen a big pair of bollocks, because I don't want to fight in fucking Ukraine either. Do you know what I mean? Fucking hell. You know, I hate going to the doctors. They don't even fucking see you anymore, do you? You have to send them a picture. You've got a boil on your arse. Fucking take a picture, send it in, don't you? The receptionist, they don't even let you speak to the doctor now, do they? Fucking hell. They say, don't bother coming in, you know, you're fucked. You know, struck by lightning, is off work for 6 weeks. Booked the physio on the 2nd week. I'd been back at work 2 weeks when I got a call. Come in for your pre-physio consultation. I said, pre-physio consultation? I've been back at work for 2 weeks, mate. Fucking hell. A little while ago, I was asked to go to the doctors because of my age for a prostate check. You know, lots of fellas, you know. I mean, how would you start a conversation like that? Like the doctor got you in there, bent over the bed, you know. He got his rubber glove on. You know, how do you start a conversation like that? I don't think the doctor liked me. Well, he kept giving me the middle finger. Fucking hell. So there I am, bent over the bed. Latex glove goes on, fucking snap. What do you say? I said, are you on Twitter? You know, he said, no, but I poked you on Facebook the other day. Fucking hell. I said, you're fucking poking me now. No small talk, no wine, no dinner. Bend me over, shut your finger, your fucking Crystal Palace transmitter. Turns out I was just fine. Well, I wasn't after. But mine's an exit hole only, you know. Well, each to their own. Bloody hell. A quick sip. Bit dry in here. Fucking A nun's minge. Oh. I had to go to a funeral the other day, sadly. And whoever put the word fun in funeral needs fucking shooting. There was a funeral for a local traffic warden. It was horrible. Everyone called him the Terminator. Loads of people came to the funeral to make sure he was really fucking gone, you know. And halfway through the services, there was a banging on the coffin lid. And the traffic warden shouted, "Stop, I'm not dead." And the priest went up and he said, "Well, there's nothing I can do now. I filled in the paperwork. I can't take it back. Put him in the ground, lads, will you?" Well, he'd do the fucking same to you, wouldn't he? Gave him a ticket last week. Get that topsoil on there. Get the fucking topsoil on. Yeah, fucking hell. Anyone remember the 80s? Well, I used to think people didn't do much in the 80s. Well, I did. But, you know, every fucking music song back then. Yeah, George Michael. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. There was a lot of do's, weren't there? Fucking hell. Do-do-do. Come on and do the call. Every other fucking song. Like they forgot the words. You know, do-do-do-do-do-do-do. I love your smile. You know, there was a lot of do's going on in the 80s. No, that was fucking brilliant. 80s, 90s, 2000s. Bloody hell. The best time. Well, late 80s, 90s, 2000s. All of that techno music. That was a bit weird, some of that. Do you know what? Us lads, we love watching the ladies' football, don't we? But the fucking penalties. They couldn't hit a cow's arse with a fucking banjo, could they? But, credit where it's due. They did fucking better than the fellas, didn't they? Do you know? We need to do better. Us men, we love football. We love Minge. Brilliant player. Janina Minge. German midfielder. Just fucking rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? Minge. Just rolls off the tongue. I mean, she must have played with some fucking balls in her time, hadn't she? Janina Minge. You know what my mate said to me? Apart from fuck off, Dave, you twat. He said, actually, Dave, her name isn't pronounced Minge. That's pronounced minge. I said, Minge? That's even fucking worse, isn't it? Minge? Minge? She's right, Minge. My mate's little boy went to school and the teacher was speaking. She said, what were you doing on the weekend, Johnny? He said, I was watching Minge on TV with me dad. Fucking social services come round, you know what I mean? Watching Minge with me dad on the TV. Janina Minge. That's right up there with Fanny Schmeller. You know, and Bradley Walsh. Yeah. You know, the German skier, Fanny Schmeller, she's retired for Olympic skiing now. She recently trained as a gynecologist. Imagine Bradley Walsh said she'll be really doing some Fanny Schmeller now, won't she? When I first had sex, that was with an older woman. And halfway through, she said, you know what, you're the worst shag ever. I said, it can't be. That'd be too much of a fucking coincidence. Do you know what I mean? Suck it out. Sometimes we're prejudiced against things that we don't understand. I've told jokes about things I don't understand. I mean, my gay friend Mark is a good teacher. Not like that, you know, like up the old ring piece. But, you know, that's his kind of shit, not mine. You know, I wondered about the mechanics of gay activities, and I asked him. I said, it must be pretty shitty sometimes, mate. He said, actually, Dave, we have rules, you know. You know, my ears pricked up before. Tell me, you know. And I said, I'm a nosy bastard, and I'm very curious. He said, if I'm going to have a good bang, you know, up the old Crystal Palace transmitter, he said, I don't eat that day until afterwards. And beforehand, we have a special shower attachment shaped like a dildo. You know, we get some soap and stuff, stick it up there, we clean as a whistle. So you don't have to have a brown cock, you know. I thought, you know what? You know, fair play. I said, but you don't have to shove a bar of soap up your arse, do you? He said, well, no, I do squirt some fluid up there before I put the attachment in. I said, so that happens twice then. Squirt some fluid up there once before you wash it, and then later on. He said, well, I suppose it does. That was a hell of a conversation. And so it's not as bad as the picture we paint. you know. And in fact, he's happy as a pig in shit. If people are happy, let them be happy. They don't need our input, literally. However, if you're a woman and you're having anal sex, the bloke might as well say the first hole ain't fucking working properly. You know? Surely you try the first one first. And ladies, if you're not having an orgasm in the front one, you're in for a shit night. Need to work on that. Yeah, try some lubricant or some posh gel or something. Or just shag somebody you like, you know? Fucking hell. I went down the shop earlier and I picked up a lemon meringue pie. I read the label. It said made with artificial lemons, not real. I picked up some sweets. I read the label. Made with artificial lemons. I thought, fucking hell. And then I went and picked up some Pledge lemon-scented polish. And it said on the can, made with real lemons. So we're eating the chemicals and putting the good stuff on the fucking coffee table. Artificial intelligence ain't fucking working, is it? Do you know what I mean? You look like shit there. Yeah, look at the coffee table. That's fucking glowing, you know? That's getting the real shit, isn't it? You know, us men get a hard time about anything sexual. Well, we need to have a hard time about, you know, what's sexual. But I'm talking about everything else. I went into a pub and there was a fucking hen party going on. They were drinking cocktails. And they had their straws with little plastic cocks on the end. Real cocktails. If us fellas had fucking hairy minge on the end of our straws or fanny-shaped pasties, we'd get thrown out for being sick and disgusting. But they can fucking drink their drink out of a cock, and that's fine. Fucking hell. Yeah, you know, if we whistle at a woman, you know, as in saying, you know, you're pretty alright, that's some sort of fucking crime, you know. Yeah, if I go into any public toilet, the minute I get me cock out, a lady cleaner walks in and starts polishing the knobs on the taps, you know. No one says a fucking thing. So we're not complaining about you all ladies, are we? You know what I mean? Yeah, fucking hell. I've got a friend who works in MI5. Every day he goes on the internet, pretends to be a 13-year-old girl and chalks as child molesters. Does that all day. I don't actually know what he does for MI5. Yeah. Her mate said, is your missus cook egg and chips for you? I said, nah. I said, why not? I said, well, my missus dresses to kill. She also fucking cooks the same way, you know? I said, that's only a joke. Don't get the fucking Women's Institute involved. I'm a fucking comedian. RSPCA advert. Every 30 minutes, someone's beating their animals. How the fuck do they know that? It's a guess, isn't it? If you're going to accuse someone of fucking assault and battery against an animal, don't fucking make it up. If you know someone's hurting an animal, phone them up. But don't make it up, for fuck's sake. Yeah. If you have an information related an incident at an address, go there and do your fucking job. The advert sucked. You know. Unless you've got Cantonese neighbours and you kick the ball over the fence and then you got to go and get the fucking dog back. You know what I mean? And you look in the kitchen window and they got a book on the windowsill. How to walk your dog. Fucking hell. I was speaking to my friend the other day, as you do. Yeah, we're chilling out, got a drink in hand. And he said, my missus said to me, if the world was going to end in 4 minutes, you know, the 4-minute warning, what would you do? I said, I'd shag anything that moved. I said to the missus, what would you do? She said, I would stand very, very still. I thought, you fucking bastard. Yeah. Me mate called me yesterday. I picked up the phone. He said, hi Dave, how's it going? Oh, good. Yeah, I'm good, mate. Would you like to run a marathon for charity? I said, a fucking marathon? I said, it's 26 miles, man. I said, at my age. He said, oh, go on, Dave, it's for charity. That's for people with no legs. I said, fucking hell, put me down for that, Pete. I could win that one. Fucking hell. Fucking people with no legs. Yeah. When I first got with my old girlfriend, she said, when she first saw me, I really caught her eye. I said, really? She went, that's the last time I try and shut up a man holding a fucking umbrella. You know what I mean? Yeah. I got my own back. I said, darling, joke for you. What's big, hairy, smelly pink and looks like you? Your fucking reflection. And she wrapped me around the head with the fucking umbrella. Again. Yeah. Well, thanks for watching. I hope you had a laugh with me, at me, or both. Please subscribe, like, follow, comment. Tell me what you like, want more of. Call me a cunt. And have a good laugh together in this fucking crazy world. See you in the next one. Take care.